Wow!
A Space Odyssey was released in 1968 and changed science fiction movies forever. Groundbreaking in its scale, its storytelling, its ambition, and its technical innovations, the film cemented Stanley Kubrick's status as a filmmaking genius and made an impact still felt in Hollywood today. We have the full behind-the-scenes story of a masterpiece, by way of all this interesting facts about 2001, A Space Odyssey. An innovative visual technique was developed. Towards the end of the film, astronaut Dave Bowman enters the Stargate. This is a gateway to the final sequence, where Bowman evolves into the next stage of humanity. It's a minutes-long whirl of color and surreal imagery, and creating it would have been previously impossible. Audiences hadn't seen anything like this before, and it was the brainchild of special effects supervisor, Doug Trumbull. He had a piece of glass with a slit in the center. He'd film objects passing behind the glass, and it would create an on-screen illusion of seemingly stretching the object. That's how they create the Stargate, and it was also used later in many classic science fiction series and movies. It was used to create the effect of the Enterprise going into warp in Star Trek, for example. Also, the psychedelic effect of the Stargate sequence apparently led to people dropping acid before going to watch the film. Spaceships had never looked so good. 2001, A Space Odyssey is famous for its majestic and realistic-looking shots of the spaceships, visuals of a level way beyond anything that came before. To pull this off, the effects team on 2001 developed a technique called motion control. The model ships were moved along tracks at exact speeds, which meant the film crew could replicate the shot over and over again precisely. The track moved at a rate of 4 inches per minute. Motion control was then developed further by ILM when they provided the visual effects for Star Wars in 1977. The sets were extraordinary and huge. There are many scenes in 2001 which involves characters or objects defying gravity. A space hostess walking up the walls at one point and astronaut Frank Poole jogging across the ceiling are 2 examples. These were largely created by using revolving sets. Revolving sets had been used by Hollywood before, like when Fred Astaire danced on the ceiling in Royal Wedding, 1954, but never on this scale. Kubrick commissioned an airplane manufacturer called Vickers Armstrong to build a 36-foot centrifuge that cost $750,000. Since 2001, we've seen a rotating set used by big-name filmmakers like Wes Craven, James Cameron, and Christopher Nolan. Kubrick won his only Oscar for the film. For spearheading the pioneering visual effects on the film, Stanley Kubrick won an Oscar for Best Special Visual Effects, his only individual Academy Award. Oscar rules at the time dictated that only one name could be submitted for the award, despite the fact that the film credited 4 other names in this area: Douglas Trumbull, Tom Howard, Con Peterson, and Wally Weavers. Deemed by many to be unfair, Academy rules were changed to allow multiple names to be nominated per film in the Best Visual Effects category.